Well, the Aussies won the first race. Kim Jane, he was the first across the line, but I can tell you on good authority that the Kiwis won on points, and that's all that matters.
Well, yeah, of course it does, but if the Aussies beat us on points in race 2, it's the win that matters, isn't it? So we'll work this in our favour, but you'll see that V8 Commodore we alluded to in race 1 just gets that slightly better start. So let's hope that Chris can get on the back of this, get a nice clean entrance out of turn 1.
Big lock-up, though, there for Pither. And Charlie Kovacs, I thought he just had a little sneak ahead off that start. He just sneaked ahead and then stopped.
Well, if they did, Jamie, and the officials picked up on it, then he will be brought back through the pits at some stage for a drive-through penalty.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that as Simon Byrne goes up the inside of Kovacs, who is the reigning international Ute Series champ. The Trans-Tasman battle continues here at the ITM 400.
I just can't believe how gentlemanlike these people are. Turn 2
Give it some time, Mark. Give it some time. There's still the better part of 2 races left to go here at Hamilton.
What was I thinking?
I think the first race was just a bit of a settler.
Bit of a teaser.
Bit of a teaser, I reckon. Here's Kovacs going through in the Wilson security car. So Kim Jane leads. He won the first race. He got around Chris Pither towards the end of race 1 of the weekend. But as I said, while Jane was first across the line, the Kiwis won the points battle for the first test. 3 tests here this weekend at Hamilton. The Trans-Tasman Challenge for the V8 Utes. There's Rob Jarvis there in the 17 ahead of the 16 of Alan Letcher. Matt Lockwood, who was a little bit quiet, you've got to say, in race number 1.
We're expecting things from Matt Lockwood, actually. Of course, he came off that high of Taupo when he was in the B&T V8s. Fantastic second place in the last race there. So he's got experience, he's got race mileage under him. Maybe just taking him a while to readjust to these Utes around the street circuit, but let's see what he can do in this one. But Chris Pither, look at that. Straight away, he was 10 car lengths at the back of the part of the circuit behind him, right up there again, and that's just the strengths and weaknesses of one car and another on different parts of the track. Yeah,
I think it's going to be a pretty good pass for Pither to get around Jane, because Jane was pretty spectacular in that first race. There's Jarvis going through, Lockwood, Letcher, Graham Byrne for the Kiwis. Now, probably Colin Corkery didn't get a very good start. He's a fair way back there in the positions as Byrne locks up and Letcher in front of Corkery. They get together off the exit. Letcher's into the concrete.
It's actually quite a big hit, that. Now, is there too much damage where he can't? Yeah, look at the front wheel.
Broken the right front suspension.
Now, if we can keep going and just get that car dragged off straight ahead at turn 2 here, if we go straight ahead, there's an access road. If we can get pulled away in there, that won't bring the safety car out.
I've got to say full credit to Graham Byrne. He put it all online for the Kiwis. He's got rid of one of the Australians.
Brilliant way to look at it.
So one of the Australians in drama. Byrne continuing on in the John Jones Steel number 85 Ford. So Corkery's made a big gain out of that. So the action early in race number 2 here from Hamilton. Here's the replay. Byrne down the inside, he locked. Letcher on the outside, he locked. And I've got to say, I don't think the Aussie maybe could have conceded there, Mark.
He done, yeah. Look, I think the Kiwi just drifted over a bit, but it was actually the second hit into the wall that done most of the damage. This right there just upset it, but bang, that's quite a big hit. Nowhere to go.
Fired it into the concrete, starting lap number 3. So both of them locked up. Colin Corkery's going, which way do I go?
Colin's going, thank you very much.
The Australian out of the concrete. The racing continues on here from Hamilton. The safety car is out. Trans-Tasman Test Series Race 2. Restart after the off between Graham Byrne and Alan Letcher. Good news for the Kiwis. Byrne got rid of one of the Aussies as Simon Byrne goes down the inside of Pither. Now, that's not good for the Kiwis because that's 2 Kiwis battling together, and that's let Kim Jane get away at the front.
And to be honest, I don't think the fastest Kiwi is actually going to be is Chris Pither, so he needs to stay in second to take the battle. Interesting to see the 4th place car, Kovac, have a look down the inside.
That's a big look down the inside to 2.
Now, is he going to pull it up in time?
Oh, he got into the right rear quarter of Pither, who gathers it back up.
It's the concertina effect afterwards. Be interested to look back out down turn 2 to see if there's any other damage there, which, look, they're still filtering through, so isn't that amazing? It's 3rd place at 2nd place, everybody thereafter suffers, but that car's still there in 3rd place now. You obviously didn't get deemed for jumping the start like you saw him move, so the officials must have thought, well, hey, look, you're stationary when the lights turn green, nothing about it.
So Pither climbing the curbs. Kovacs looks like he's struggling there. There was a big lock up there into the chicane. Simon Byrne was the big misser.
Something wrong with that car.
Sitting down on the left side.
Yep. Yeah, that was just the contact that we saw with Chris Pither.
It's cut a tyre. So the Australians in the wars here with a couple of their players down in the Trans-Tasman Challenge.
Now this is going to be an interesting part because these are all left-hand corners coming up, right-hand, sorry. So unless he gets out of the way, we have the potential for a very big accident.
Colin Corkery gets into the back of Matt Lockwood, so Byrne has gained back out of that. He's got back around Jarvis, and Matt Lockwood's now in the mix.
He wants to get back to the pits as quick as he can because he doesn't want to go a lap down, otherwise he'll be classified as a non-finisher. So he needs to get back. That team's got to process the tyre change, but of course he's got to be careful that no one drives in the back of him.
So that looks like Byrne now into the third position. That's junior Byrne, Simon Byrne, racing out of Christchurch. There's your race leader, Kim Jane, being stalked by Pither, who just survived a launch, an attack by Charlie Kovacs. For the Aussies, they've come out of it the worst with a flat tyre for the Australian in the Wilson Security #1. On board with Robert Jarvis. It's all happening behind him.
He's come from a long way back here. Colin Corker doing a good job of holding that car, just taking the speed out, not driving in the back of the car. So Kiwis are slowly making inroads here, but what can Chris Pither do to the guys in front? We know he's a little bit to Kim Jane. He's 4 or 5 car lengths back, but has he got the Ute speed to get on the back of him?
Well, there's more Kiwis inside the top 10 at the moment than the Australian. Simon Grace is the third car in that queue. And I think in behind him, it's either George Elliott in the Vittoria Coffee car. Certainly looks like the familiar brown and gold number 55. So Corkery playing a little bit of catch-up. He was one of the drivers that featured in race #1. The Kiwis winning the points advantage. Kim Jane, though, winning the honours with the race win. See if Chris Pither can turn the tables, but he's got some work to do as we watch some of the battles through the field. Matt Lockwood, the Phantom, holding on to position. One of the 2 VZ Commodores, the older Commodores in this lineup, up against the later model VEs.
The VE's got a bigger engine, but of course they can reduce the amount of speed of those cars by taking some of the engine management out of the car, and essentially it's how much the cars rev. So if they deem one car's going too quick, simple, just make sure they rev a little bit less next time, takes a bit of speed out of them, so the overall lap time's the same. Kovac's team's got their car processed, they've got to turn around. He's probably lost 1 lap, which means you get classified as a finisher because you have to do 80% of the race. So that's 8 laps out of 10, so they've done a good job.
So Simon Burner in the third position. So Kovac's coming back out on track. We saw a dragging rear bumper there as the 44 of Greg Willis runs a little bit deep into turn #1 in the Grove Orange Juice number 44. So that was either Peter Ward or Huggy Urquhart that was dragging the rear bumper. Lockwood's got the attentions and glances off the wall off the exit of 2. These things must be a lot of fun to drive, Mark. You're talking over 300 kilowatt, not a lot of tyre on the road, and obviously they're a little bit lighter in the rear end because they're missing some fairly significant bodywork, i.e. rear doors and roof.
I was fortunate enough to drive one of Mike Perro's Utes at Hampton Downs not so long ago, and I have to say, hand on my heart, it was the most fun I've had in the last 10 years. They handle magnificently, they stop fantastic, they accelerate like there's no tomorrow, considering what they are. So yeah, it's a fantastic formula, and I just hope it keeps the momentum going like we see, and we see a few more people come back into it.